Hello and welcome. I hate doing those kind of intros. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about time management, specifically not tips and tricks. We're just going to talk about from my own personal experience some of the challenges we have regarding homeschooling and time management versus the way it works well for us regarding time management. Now, this is a collaboration. It was started by Melody from Homeschool Happy Hour, and other ladies will be putting in their 2 cents regarding homeschool as well. So make sure that after this video, you either click the video at the very end or go to the drop down menu where there will be a link of this playlist. And if you're brand new here, hello, my name is Misty. We will get into some of the details of our family dynamics here in a second. I'd love for you to be able to just drop a comment down below so that I can say hello to you. Okay, so regarding time management and homeschool, I am not just a homeschooling parent, not that that isn't enough already, right? But I also work from home. Okay, so I have ways of making income from home, and that is a big part of our family dynamic that needs to be considered. So everything that I talk about in here will consider that from like that perspective. Now, my work is very flexible in the sense that I don't work for a company. I don't have set hours. I work for myself. I make my money. To make more money, I have to work more. That's how it works in the work I do. So the more work I put in, the more money I make. The less work I put in, the less money I make. So it's a very flexible situation, and that has its highs and lows as far as different factors that we probably won't even discuss in this video. Also, regarding homeschool, I have 2 girls and they are ages 5 and 8. So we're still early elementary, early education learning time frames. Okay, so I have yet to experience middle school, high school, all those sorts of things. So I can't speak from that experience, but I will share with you what I've noticed are pros and cons in time management as far as the past 5 years of homeschooling since my daughter was 3. And yes, I mean that we did start homeschooling. She began to read at 3. So, okay, that's enough about me and the dynamics. Let's get into the pros. We'll talk about the pros first. Okay, so the very first thing is probably one everybody's going to say, okay? And that is flexibility. Homeschooling offers a ton of flexibility. We can accommodate for a lot of unexpected events. Hold on, I gotta tell my kids to be quiet. Okay, it's currently quiet time and the kiddo was loud, so had to correct that. We do have one sleeping, so we gotta be quiet. But like I was saying, it accommodates unexpected events, which life happens, unexpected things happen. As well as it helps with a lot of just needs for change. So like I said, my work is flexible. Sometimes we need me to create more income, such as right now. It's a time where, you know, everybody's struggling financially, things are going up, all that sort of stuff. So I have to work more. And so homeschooling is great because it's very flexible in that way. So I'm able to really decide how much we're doing versus how much we're not doing, what time of day we're doing it, and what I'm outsourcing, all those kind of things. So it's very flexible and it works great for working from home in that way. We'll also get into why it's not great for work from home, but that's what I can say about flexibility. We also do year-round schooling, which I think is great for time management because most homeschoolers who like to do the regular, like according to how traditional schools do it, they'll take a long summer break, they'll take holidays off, and then they'll pretty much homeschool through most of the year. Beyond that, there can be slight variations of this type of layout for learning and homeschooling and time management. But when you choose to do year-round homeschooling, it's really nice because those breaks can be spread out a lot throughout the year. So we don't have a set time of year where we take an extended period off, maybe the holiday time just because it gets really crazy and we unintentionally take it off. But with homeschooling year round, if things are getting stressful, we can stop and take a break. If things are getting to be too much with work, we can stop and take a break. If we are, you know, whatever it is, there's a lot of reasons that we can stop and take breaks. And it also allows a lot more flexibility as far as how many subjects you need to cover within a day or a week. Because we're covering it throughout the year. And even to back that up, in our state for the past few years, we've had to, or for the past however many years, it's changing now, but we've been required to do portfolios that you turn in to show where your kids are. You got basically show their growth. And that teacher let me know, like, you do year round. There's no need to do math every single day. So it's really nice in that sense that there's a lot more spread out flexibility with year round homeschooling. So all of this leads into the next one, which is the versatility, which is so helpful. So what I mean by this is I can choose to cover all the subjects myself and do it all, or seasons like right now where things are crazy and hectic and I have to do more personally, like on a work level, I can outsource. So we currently have them signed up for classes outside of the home. And when they're in those classes, guess what? I have hours to myself working. So I take my iPad with me and and I'm able to do my work. A lot of my work is digital. So yeah, it's really cool in that way that I can say, all right, right now you're doing self-led learning. These subjects we're going to cover as a family. We're going to outsource this and that subject, online schooling, those kind of things. Like there's so many versatile ways to go about it. So it's really nice and accommodating for a work from home mother who's like, oh, I just can't cover all the subjects plus art plus phys ed plus, you know, like it's a lot. I'm able to outsource them, and then for hours while they're in classes per week, this is per week, I'll get several hours. Like I think right now I get 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 6 hours where they're outsourced to other people. I'm sitting in the lobby or close by and I'm working on my iPad and getting my work done while they are learning. And this last one is what I wanted to bring up because I think a lot of people would listen to this and be like, why don't you just put them in school so that you can focus on 8 hours of working, right? That's a good point, and a lot of parents do that. That's a very normal thing to do. Nothing wrong with it. But for our family and our values, we wanted me to be home and spending time with the kids. That itself has pros and cons, you know? Sometimes they drive me a little up the wall, but that's part of the trade-off, I guess. But I do this because what's more important to us than me working a full 8 hours is them being raised by at least one of their... Okay, so I'm trying to film on my less expensive, more casual camera, and every time I do this, it wants to die on me. Sorry guys. Or not die, it overheats. But anyways, like I was saying, the whole point is we want me to raise them, not them being gone for 8 hours, as well as I do have my own bones to pick with the regular school system. So those are reasons that we place homeschool as a higher value than taking them outside of the home. I know it's a luxury, okay? I know that not everybody can homeschool. All right, I know not everybody can figure it out even if they want to or not. So I'm not taking that for granted, but we've just chosen that our family values for the past 5 years. Yeah, 5 years has been, they stay home with me, I educate them, we're a family unit pretty much 24/7. Also, my husband works from home, so we're all here pretty much all the time, which has its own challenges, but nonetheless, it's what we value more than other options we could choose. So that is why I don't put them in a school so that I can work. I'm gonna figure it out. I'll squeeze in work and all the other things at the same time. Okay, so now we're going to get into some of the challenges regarding homeschooling as a work from home parent. The first one, which I mentioned in the last video, is boundary setting. It's a little hard to work on boundary setting in the sense that everything is done in our home, right? I work from home, I homeschool from here. My husband works from here. We do our regular outside of homeschooling parenting here, right? Our family unit is always here. We're always here. So things can get muddied up a lot and hard to keep the borders in place and everything. So that's a constant challenge that's always being addressed. Sometimes it's more stressful than it is other times. Like right now, it's a little bit stressful. Like I said, they're not a fan of me working so much more compared to less. But you know, it is what it is. We all have to do what we have to do during a time of inflation and other things like that. Regular needs we have to be met. I have to create more income. My husband already works a full-time job. I'm the one with the flexibility. So now I need to create the income. That's our understanding, and I'm perfectly okay with that, just so you know. So yeah, sometimes it gets a little hard to kind of control the boundaries. Another one that I struggle with if I don't prioritize this is giving my kids like the best of my energy earlier in the day. So sometimes I can't do that, right? Sometimes it's like we have a million things to do. I have to homeschool you at 2 p.m. today. Sometimes it's even later, 5 p.m. But I really do try to give the earlier portion of my energy because I'm someone who does hit a midday slump. And to be honest with you, I need a little cat nap, okay? So if they hit me around that time, I'm not giving them the best of my energy. I'm not giving them the best of my ability to teach them or to hear them out or to not grow frustrated. So I really try to give them those early hours in the day of really focusing in on a lot of the homeschooling, and then maybe some of the other subjects can be spread out throughout the day, but most of it I try to prioritize doing it earlier in the day. As a morning person full of energy, the further we go into the day, the less I have to give. So I try my best to give them that energy, but that does present a challenge at times when work feels like a big heavy load that needs to be taken care of right away. By the way, all these challenges I don't have answers to, okay? They're challenges for a reason. So you're not going to get like really cool tips and tricks. Maybe I have a few up my sleeve and maybe I can do a video on that in the future, but just by the nature of our family dynamics, these are the areas that we regularly face struggling in. Okay, so another one is I have to regularly kind of check myself and de-school myself. If you don't know what this is, it's a whole thing, but it's in the sense that I have gone through traditional schooling where you're taught to do things a certain way, do the checklist, hit all the marks that you need to hit, like, you know, there's a list. Everybody learns this way, like all those sorts of things where it's very uniform. Sometimes it gets really hard to not get so in my head about that and think like, we need to get this checklist done. So then I'm wasting a lot of time being more, honestly causing anxiety in a sense. Like there's an urgency in me to get these things done. I'm getting frustrated because they're not, and the kids can read that. So not only am I frustrated and anxious, they're frustrated and anxious because they're feeding off that energy because I'm feeding it to them, right? So a big part of it is making sure that I am prioritizing just learning what needs to be learned and not worrying about checking off all these items within a day or within a time frame, because that's a big waste of your time. There's no need to follow exact checklists, or like if a curriculum has like day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if you don't hit them, that's okay. So you have to think about it in that way. Time management isn't just a challenge to get things done. Sometimes the challenge is, sorry, someone got my eyeball, it's weird. Sometimes the challenge is not doing the most, if you get what I'm saying. So I'd say that that's a challenge that we face, that I have to constantly check myself on so that I'm meeting their needs and not just trying to meet a checklist. And that does have to do with time, okay? Don't waste your time. Okay, another one is struggling to fit everything in. And I don't just mean homeschooling, I'm talking about everything in general, right? So it's already a lot, okay? Outside of homeschooling, moms do a lot. Whether you're working, whether you stay at home, doesn't matter. It's like you need to find time for your kids, for yourself, right? Your self-care, for your spouse, for your own parents or siblings or other family members, for your friends. You gotta find time to work out. When do you sleep, eat, breathe, you know, all the things. It's a lot. It's a lot, and of course during a video, like I don't know what's in my eye, but something's in there. It is a lot, and so when you decide to homeschool, you're adding in so much extra stuff that it creates its own challenges. Like when I was a full-time working parent, and to be fair, I only had one child at that time, but like our house stayed clean because she was gone while I was working. I'd pick her up, basically feed her dinner, get her ready for the night, and then put her to bed. So like not much needed to be done. Even on the weekends, not a lot of damage was done. But now we're home a lot, which means my house is like a tornado. All the time. A tornado is up in this place all the time, okay? So a big challenge is fitting in time to really get everything done, because to be honest with you, I prioritize things like me getting a workout in over me getting the dishes done, okay? And I don't regret it, but I low-key do, in the sense that like the dishes, they never end. I mean, they're not gonna end, but when you don't prioritize that in the time management, it affects so much else, right? It affects my ability to work in a clean space. It affects my ability to homeschool in a clean space, to think in a clean space. I'm one of those people that need it clean to think. So in that way, yes, it's a challenge. And I wish I had the greatest tip. Honestly, the only tip I could give for that one is to declutter regularly, which I need to do. We have too much stuff. Naturally, we accumulate stuff. So a big part of it is just not having a lot of stuff to be thrown around your house anyway. Even less dishes. Oh my gosh, when we had less dishes, it was great. Somehow they've added back up. But yeah, that's a big struggle. That's just a tangent now. Let's move on to the last one. The last one is routine and consistency. This is where it gets hard. I've learned that we cannot do a set, hard, fast schedule. Not gonna happen in this house. I've had to really lower a lot of expectations in that way, from what I originally thought our homeschool looked like to now. And I've even done a year of unschooling just to convince myself that like it's okay to do it differently, and actually learn a lot during that year of unschooling. But yeah, it can be a struggle to find routines or consistency, especially when my work varies, right? So I'm a lot on the online space. Some of it is very standard, like the reselling portion, not much changes there. Whoa, the sun just came out. But some of the other work that's digital is I need to make illustrations for something. Now I need to edit some videos for something. Now it's a little dead, a little slow. Okay, now I have to format this project that's launching. Okay, and now I've been asked to do this or that, like, and not to mention own things that I throw on myself, like creating digital homeschool unit studies, right? Like everything fluctuates a lot. So consistency is not easy, just by, once again, the nature of my work and our family dynamics and how everything works for us. So those are the challenges that I face. Don't forget that this is a collaboration, and you can check out the other ladies' videos by clicking the video down here on the bottom. And if you're new here and want to see more about my channel, click over here on the top. I'll see you over in that video. Have fun homeschooling.